debunked, rehabilitated, and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show podcast on this Friday, our last podcast of 2022. Gabe, can you believe it? I mean, this year has flown by. And I'm looking forward to 2023 with the rest of you. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are found: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. Follow me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. I want to talk about, listen, this is going to be a fun and informative show. We're going to talk about Andrew Tate. I'm sure you guys have heard the latest on him. Obviously, a major online influencer, male influencer, self-described chauvinist. I think he was talking primarily about man stuff. Obviously, he's been arrested. I know you guys know the news. We'll get into that, some of the latest details as that's concerned. We're going to mock Joe Biden a little bit because that feels good. Now, I know this is hard for those of us that are conservatives and Christians and people of faith. It's not something that I would feel comfortable doing if he wasn't evil and if he wasn't destroying America and if he weren't corrupt. But since he is all of those things, we're going to spend a little bit of time sharing some videos that occurred in 2022, courtesy of Breitbart, to mock him. So please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show. Please subscribe to our Rumble channel, The Carl Jackson Show. And of course, you can hear the audio as well. So we're going to do that. Andrew Tate, mock Joe Biden, and Pete Buttigieg is a loser. He knew about the difficulties facing the airline industry, including Southwest, for several months, and he did nothing about it. So I just want to confirm with you that Pete Buttigieg, Pete Booty, as I like to call him, not for the reasons that you think, get your mind out of the gutter, but he is a loser. He remains a loser. We'll talk about that some. And congratulations to Lori Lightfoot, as a matter of fact, the mayor of Chicago. Carjackings are up, murders are up in Chicago. She's breaking records there, so she has to be completely proud of herself. Just thought I'd throw that in for free. All right, this podcast is brought to you today by MyPillow. Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store? Then you got home and it felt all crusty and it really didn't absorb? I've had that experience, so I got the MyPillow towels. They're basically a towel that won't leave you high and dry. That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels that actually work. I know it's mind-blowing to think that you can actually purchase towels that work, but these ones do. Their 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. They come in a variety of colors. Right now, you can receive a 6-piece towel set for only $39.98 with the promo code Carl. That's C-A-R-L, promo code Carl. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener square at the top of the page, and enter my name, promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call, 1-800-858-0263, 1-800-858-0263. Okay. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to start with Andrew Tate here, and we've got some video to roll before we get started, and I'm going to fill you in on the latest with Andrew Tate and just offer some of my opinions. Let's go ahead and roll the tape, por favor, Gabe.
The only thing I will say I don't like about being banned is that you get 3 lives when you attack powerful people. They first ban you and try and shut you up. Secondly, they'll put you in jail for something you didn't do. And thirdly, they'll kill you. So I've used my first life, which is kind of upsetting when you know that next is going to be some false charges.
The 2 worst ones.
Yeah.
The Matrix has attacked you.
The false charges, you just die.
First, they insult your character and attack you. It's stage 1 of the 3 stages. They attack you, your character, and cancel you. They put you in jail for something you did not do. And the last is they kill you. And I'll make it very clear here. I would never kill myself under any circumstances, ever.
It appears the insanity of the ruling elite is exposed worldwide now. They will kill you. Keep your mouths shut. Behave as sheep. I've had serious, long conversations contemplating whether they're going to try and kill me. I would like to think they're not. All I'm trying to do is teach men to be strong. If they decide to kill me on a long enough time frame, they're going to be successful. But I can't. I don't want to live in fear, because what did I say in the earlier tenet? If I become a coward, I will live in fear, and it breeds inaction. I won't be sitting here telling the truth. I want the world to know that I'd absolutely never, ever kill myself under any circumstances, ever, no matter what they say.
All right, so you can listen, watching those videos, you can completely understand why a lot of men would follow this guy, absent the presence of real men, it seems to me, in places like the United States, I'm sure UK, where he currently lives. But although he's currently a resident. I think he's a resident of both or has dual citizenship, if I'm not mistaken, in both UK and the United States of America. I know that he was born in Chicago. He and his brother, his mother is from the UK, from what I understand. She moved them back to the UK when they were kids. So they pretty much lived in the UK their entire lives. But obviously, this guy has a massive following online. What he was speaking about earlier is he was canceled. He was canceled everywhere for his views. And again, he talks about manhood. He's a single man. He's a wealthy man, a former kickboxing champion. So obviously he did well there. He got extremely famous on TikTok. He got tons of followers, tons of subscribers to his page, people that literally pay a subscription. So he's very wealthy, nice homes, nice cars. He got in a spat the other day with Greta Thunberg, talking about basically saying he would show her all of his cars and vehicles. She went back at him, basically, mocking his genitalia size and all this kind of stuff. And he went back at her. We'll get into some of that. But ironically, he was in Romania at the time. Allegedly, this pizza box that was in the frame at the time that he and Greta Thunberg were going back and forth led cops to find where he was staying in Romania. That sounds a little fishy to me. Here's what I would say from the onset, and we'll get into mocking Joe Biden shortly. I see Gabe is already ready here. We'll get into mocking Joe Biden here shortly. But either this guy is a really good liar, really great manipulator, or he's innocent. I'm not sure. None of us know, right? None of us know. These are only charges. He contends, he and his brother, that they're innocent of the charges. It doesn't surprise me at all that the guy would be. He talks about being a man. This isn't a guy that I know of. He's not professing to be a Christian or a Jew or Catholic. I think recently, if I understand, he turned to Islam, but he said he turned to Islam because he saw them as a stronger religion, because Christians don't stand up for themselves. That's a topic for another day. But this is a guy that promotes being a single man, working hard, living out your dreams. Again, nice cars, big house, women, and a lot of guys. A lot of guys are hungry for a male role model, because you hear all the time in places like here, the United States of America, how masculinity is toxic. And that's no such thing. The world needs strong men. The world needs aggressive men. What we don't need are rapists. And that's what we're going to find out. So Hat Tip Daily Wire, here's the summary. Online personality Andrew Tate was detained yesterday by Romanian law enforcement on suspicion of rape, human trafficking, and organized crime after a clue in a video that he sent to the far-left climate activist Greta Thunberg allegedly tipped off officials that he was in the country. Now, you hear these charges: rape, human trafficking, organized crime. Those are serious charges. I mean, if he's convicted of these charges, I don't know what the law is in places like Romania. Obviously, if those were the charges here in the United States, this guy would be going away for possibly the rest of his life. The question is, are they true or are they trumped up? Are they overblown charges? We don't know the answer to that. Reuters reported that investigators found 6 women who had allegedly been sexually exploited by Tate, his brother Tristan Tate, and 2 other women. Again, we don't know if this is true or not. The 4 suspects, this according to prosecutors, appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content that was meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. And the prosecutor said they would have gained important sums of money. Obviously, that's how they speak in Romania. They would have made a buttload of money off of this. Now, here's the question. I got a couple of questions or a couple of thoughts here. First off, it makes no sense to me because from my understanding, he was being investigated for months. He was arrested. I think it was in April of this year. He was banned. He was canceled earlier. He was wiped out all the social media sites. Eventually, just recently, he was restored to Twitter after Elon Musk took over. He also went to Rumble. And regardless of how you feel about him, we believe in free speech. He has a right to have a platform and say what he has to say. And many of the things that he said, frankly, I would support. There's things obviously that I wouldn't support, but I appreciate that he's building and lifting up men. I wish he would. I wish he would lead men to God as well, so they would toughen up both physically, but also spiritually. And when I say God, I do mean Jesus. That's what I mean. But nonetheless, there is a place for men building up men. We need stronger men in the world. Period. Point blank. The pizza box thing doesn't make sense to me. If they had been investigating him for years, he has a cell phone. He uses electronics. Seems to me, unless he was super smart in being able to block his whereabouts, that they would know where he was. He lives in a mansion in Romania. Kind of hard to hide that, right? So some of this stuff just doesn't make sense to me from the onset. But then again, I don't know. Again, this guy could be a master liar, master manipulator, or he could be telling the truth and he could be set up. I don't know. And I don't want to minimize. Listen, I believe when women are raped, frankly, I believe there should be a death penalty. That's the way that I feel. When you can murder, not murder. Well, when you can murder, but also when you can seriously force a woman to do that, to perform things that are just that's not your body. To me, rape and murder, there's just nothing like rape and murder. Those are, in my mind, the most serious of crimes, murder being obvious. I think rape should be obvious, but it's absolutely disgusting. I have no problem with death penalty in those cases. I know that wouldn't be the case, but I personally wouldn't have a problem with that, because if I always look at when you can torture and violate the most the most innocent or people that are weaker than you and take advantage of them in that way. I don't know. It's just pretty disgusting to me, pretty cringy. But that leads me to some questions. Also, what leads me to other questions is the four suspects, according to the prosecutors, they appear to have created an organized crime group. I don't even know how they come to that conclusion. They appear to have created an organized crime group. I mean, is it an organized crime group? Is it not an organized crime group? And what's your definition of an organized crime group? So these are the things. And again, this is in Romania. They have totally different laws. And I'm not an attorney anyway. But I can tell you, having gone through a legal process before, these are things that I would be questioning if I was a defendant. What do you mean by that? For the purpose of recruiting, did these women know they were being recruited? They were being housed. Some of these women were flown in from different parts of the world. They were being housed. They were being exploited. Did they know they were going to be performing? Did they know they were going to be in pornographic type videos? I have to ask, because to me, this is to me, and I'm not denigrating the women, but to me, this is a dude that exudes, listen, I make money. I have big houses. I have big cars. I like, I'm an attractive single man. I like women. I'm going to play you. All right. That's what I see. That's what I see. So I'm like, or were the women totally naive? I mean, were some of these women underage? I don't know the answer to that. But these are the things that, at least if I were a defense attorney, I would start questioning, unless there is solid evidence to suggest, because there's video out there. If there's solid evidence to suggest that these ladies were physically assaulted against their will and literally raped. I mean, that is the question. The women were then, according to the prosecutors, or as the Daily Mail reported, the women were subjected to physical violence and mental coercion, were sexually exploited by group members by forcing them to perform pornographic demonstrations. Let me stop now. If they were forced to perform them, obviously that is sick, twisted, and a crime. But the question is, were they really forced? And they were forced to perform pornographic demonstrations for the purpose of producing and disseminating through social media platforms. This, according to the Daily Mail. So if there was physical violence, mental coercion, I'll be frank, I don't understand that. Was it physical violence where they were just scared out of their wits and so they just obeyed? Just a lot of questions here. And I'm not defending him and I'm not denigrating the women. I don't know, but we're still in the charges phase. Again, you saw what Andrew Tate, you saw the video, you heard the audio. If you're just listening by audio, you heard him say, listen, I've been canceled. Next thing is a lie to you and jail, which that would be a master manipulation strategy. If he was doing things and he was just like, I'm just going to kind of protect myself and throw it out there because I know they're investigating me for this. So I'm just going to say, that would be the next thing. That's possible. He could be a total sleazeball in that way. I don't know. And the third thing is to kill him. And he says he would not commit suicide. I believe him. Sadly, I don't trust institutions anymore. We see what our DOJ and FBI has done. How much more corrupt are other places? If we were supposed to be the best, the brightest, the most, the world's preeminent law enforcement agency, our DOJ, our FBI, I don't have faith in other countries, knowing that this is still the best country in the world. All right. So I'm always skeptical. So here's what Tate tweeted to Thunberg earlier. He said, hello, Greta Thunberg. And I'm quoting, I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a W16, 8-liter quad turbo. My two Ferrari 812 Competizione have 6 point, I don't even know how to pronounce that, have V12, 6.5 liter V12s. All right. He's got some powerful cars. This is just a start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and the respective enormous emissions. So he's taunting her. And then she responds and somewhat cleverly, yes, please do enlighten me. Thornburg responded, email me at small D energy at getalife.com. I'm not a fan of Greta Thunberg. I think she's a complete and utter fraud. I don't know that she knows that she's a fraud. I think that she's been used by the left and she really believes some of the stuff that she spouts, I guess. But I think she's a fraud, either intentionally so, or perhaps she's just misinformed. And maybe that's it. Maybe she's just misinformed. But nonetheless, this isn't a lady that's really studied the hemisphere. She was a young kid, didn't know what the heck she was talking about, got scared because wherever she's from, they were talking about the sky is falling, and then they used this little kid that had no experience, put her out in the ether. She's a female. They think this is what the left does. They'll put somebody that they believe you won't talk about, so that they can advance their agenda, or that you're scared to talk about a young female, or it'll be trans people, or it'll be blacks and gays, you name it. That's what they do in order to run cover for their agenda. So Tate faced allegations of human trafficking in April. That was in April this year. He claimed the accusations stemmed from a swatting incident where authorities accused him and his brother at the time of obtaining large sums of money with which they bought houses, luxury cars, cryptocurrencies. This, according to the reports. If I were just to guess, I would say this is going to end up being a money laundering case. That's just me. I don't know. But if I were to predict, or if I were a betting man, at some point that's going to come into the picture. Tate said, at the time, I was not arrested. What happened is I suffer from a case of swatting. It's very popular with people who are large on the internet, and he's right about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been swatted several times. For those of you that don't know, some left-wing nut job will call the police and say there's some type of major crime going on at this person's home. The SWAT team shows up, bangs on the doors, ready to go in, guns drawn, and you better not have a gun because you could get yourself killed. It's really sick and twisted, but this is who the left is. So Tim Pool has been swatted notoriously several times. Again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the same is true. The same is true there. So we'll have to wait and see. He did say this. Police turned up. They investigated. This was back in April. They realized nobody was in the house against their will. There was no crime committed. We had to go to the police station for 45 minutes for pieces of paper. We filled them in, and then we were let go. So I assume that once they were let go, police started watching them to see what was going on and trying to build a case. I assume that is the case, having heard that he was being investigated for months. But I mean, all of this, something isn't quite right here. I'll put it this way. I'm not defending Tate. I'm not denigrating the women, but I will say something does not feel right about this case. So we'll have to wait and see. Moving on. Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg has failed. I thought I printed out the notes in front of me, and as a matter of fact, I did not print out. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I just stapled them together. But the Daily Mail, here's what happened with Pete Buttigieg. All right, you guys know of the Southwestern airline crisis. I mean, it sounds like they're getting things back in order. I believe as of today, the airline said they will be functioning at much higher levels, closer to normal. What they're going to do with the luggage, I don't know, but apparently it's being stored in some places and will eventually get back. The luggage will find its way to its owners shortly here. But Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, known to you as Pete Buttigieg, has known about this crisis for quite some time. This is a guy, if you remember, I tweeted out, and please follow me on Twitter and social media, The Carl Jackson Show. Also, please subscribe to this podcast and share, like, rate, review. It'll really help us out. I'd really appreciate it. But go to thecarljacksonshow.com, SalemPodcastNetwork.com, wherever you get your podcast. And please, again, please support my sponsors. That's the only way a podcast like this is possible. So again, mypillow.com is responsible for this show today. So mypillow.com, you can get a plethora of deals right now. Again, they got the towels on sale, a 6-piece towel set for $39.98. That is way down. You get a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. I have the towels. I love the towels. They actually work like towels back in the day used to. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener square, put in the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call, 1-800-858-0263. But getting back to Pete Buttigieg. All right, so the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, was warned about airline chaos months ago, according to the Daily Mail, yet publicly assured travelers that air travel would be better by the holidays. This is the same guy that during the supply chain crisis that we were having here in the United States as a result of the lockdowns, not as a result of COVID, but as a result of the government reaction to COVID or response to COVID. We had ships backed up in the harbor of Long Beach and Los Angeles. It was insane. So you would go to the store. You guys remember this, and in some cases this still exists, but it's not near as bad as it was. But I don't care if you went to the grocery store. I don't care if you went to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a local tool shop, whatever it was, you would see bare shelves, just bare shelves. And all you could get is what you could get. And obviously there was a lot of demand for supply, not a lot of supply. And so prices just skyrocketed. It was completely and utterly insane. Well, Pete Buttigieg, in the middle of that, took a vacation because he and his partner, I'm sorry, I won't say husband, he and his partner adopted some, I believe, twin babies. And so they took some time off. He took some maternity leave off as if he's a chick. I'm sorry, you're a gay dude. You're still a man. You may be gay, but you're still a man. You didn't give birth. You have a cushy government job. And honestly, this is a guy that just likes likes the power, likes the prestige, but doesn't put in the work. I wrongfully thought back in 2016, I thought this guy could end up being the nominee. He spoke so well, he made great arguments, and then you find out that he completely stunk as a mayor in Indiana. I mean, black people were calling him out. They couldn't stand him. And yet it didn't matter. Joe Biden didn't care what people thought. They elevated this guy to the transportation secretary. He was a disastrous mayor. He's a disastrous transportation secretary. Turns out a New York AG, Letitia James, at the time, I don't believe she's the AG anymore. She may be. She wrote to, I guess she is. I guess she did win a race. She wrote to Buttigieg on August 2nd about an, quote, escalating pattern of airlines delaying and canceling flights. She warned him about this 4 months ago in July. Southwest Airlines had delayed 29% of its flights. Then, listen to this. 38 state attorneys told Congress that DOT had failed to address issues. The federal agency vows to investigate the holiday travel chaos. So Pete Buttigieg, wants to investigate Southwest. Who's going to investigate Pete Buttigieg? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. It sounds like bipartisan support in Congress is welling up to investigate Pete Buttigieg. This guy is a complete and utter fraud. This guy is just totally crappy at his job. He loves the perks. He loves flying on private jets. He likes taking time off with his partner, but he doesn't like putting in the work. He just likes looking and sounding good. That's who the left is. Again, these people don't have solutions. Look at the border. Look at the border. All right. They don't have solutions. Look at the economy. The economy is doing better. No, we're not counting 3 million people that left the workforce as a result of the Democratic lockdowns and have never returned. All right. So anyway, Pete Buttigieg is a loser. Now let's get to Biden. I want to do a little bit of mocking just for the end of the year. Listen, we got to release. I know. This is therapeutic. This should be therapeutic. I know a lot of you aren't used to this. I get it. We're conservatives. We're Christians. You're not used to this. I'm a little ghetto fabulous. So I want to help you out a little bit. I want you to release a little bit. We're going to do some mocking when it comes to Joe Biden. I want you to understand this seriously. The left, in order to gain power, they understand the power of mocking. Saul Alinsky talked about it as well from Rules from Radicals. That's what they did with Sarah Palin. Did you guys know? I literally watched I believe it was National Geographic. Don't quote me on that, but I saw a special years ago, and they talked about the 4 most influential speakers in government that had existed in a century or so. Seriously. That moved audiences with their speeches. And they talked about the 4 best that they had seen in a century's period of time. And it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan, President Barack Obama, and Sarah Palin. And yeah, I know a lot of you, but they destroyed her. They made her a caricature. Oh, I can see Russia from my house. And most of the morons on the left believe that because they are morons. She had actually said it was a Saturday Night Live skit with Tina Fey. But what Sarah Palin had actually said is that you can see parts of Russia from Alaska, which is totally true. But she was made to look like an idiot because they mocked her, and it worked fabulously. But she was a powerful speaker before that. I know there's a lot of establishment guys that say, oh, she was the wrong choice for John McCain. I wasn't going to vote for John McCain until Sarah Palin came along. And everyone I know that was voting felt the same way. So for these establishment people to say, oh, if it wasn't for Sarah, no. John McCain sucked. All right. He was a horrible candidate. You guys may have liked him in Arizona. I get it. I think he did a lot of damage. It's because of him that Obamacare is still in place and that medical insurance is so expensive. And you have a lot of doctors that are just paper pushers now. And they don't care as much about people because Obamacare made medicine an industry where now doctors and nurses don't get to spend as much time with patients. You're slowly becoming a number. You can thank Barack Obama for that. You can thank the Democrat Party for that. You can thank John McCain for that. I'm sorry. I had a respect for John McCain as a hero, but as he passed, he left us with socialized medicine, which totally, in my opinion, this is going to sound harsh, it nullified all of his good works. I'm sorry. It did. It did. You help sustain a system that's going to kill people. Sorry. No love. All right. So let's get a little enjoyment here. Have a few laughs before we end this podcast. Gabe, let's go ahead and roll what are you going to roll first? Are you going to roll you may have to pipe up your mic here for me. You're going to roll the first one with the bike. Okay. Let's roll. This was the number one. Now, this was a list that was on Breitbart. I've tweeted out that list. I've also put it on my Facebook page. So Twitter, Facebook, True Social, Getter. Follow me on all of those places. You can review the list yourself, share it with other people. Please don't forget to share our podcast, SalemPodcastNetwork.com, TheCarlJacksonShow.com, wherever you get your podcast. Really would appreciate it, and I really would appreciate the follow. But let's go with the first one, and let's just sit back and enjoy this. And again, I want to tell you that if this is our parents, if this is our grandparents, we would be crying. We would be mad. We wouldn't want to see this happen. But this guy is evil. This guy is corrupt, and he's a complete and utter liar. So let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and roll this clip, Gabe. Uh-oh, yeah. That's a guy that's all there. A guy that stops his bike and can't even keep up his balance. But yeah, he's all there. The president of the United States. I feel totally safe with him in office. He's doing a fabulous job keeping this country and the world safe for that matter. I mean, nothing's going on since he's in since he's been in office. It's not like Russia invaded Ukraine. It's not like China is on the march and they're looking to invade Taiwan. It's not like our southern borders are open. Everything is copacetic with Biden in the White House. Here's the next one, just to bring you a little bit of joy. And I know you guys feel insulted by this, just like I do, but I'm going to smile and I'm going to laugh. And I know you are too, because it's going to help us get through and continue to fight in 2023, because we're not going to be made out ultimately to look like idiots. We're not going to allow these fools to continue to play us. So right now, let's just enjoy this. Let's get a little bit of motivation. This is another video, and you won't be able to hear this. So you're going to want to subscribe, right, to our YouTube channel and to our Rumble channel, rumble.com, The Carl Jackson Show, youtube.com, The Carl Jackson Show. But here it is, this guy Biden shaking the hand of a ghost, apparently. All right, we can cut that off. He literally shook the hand of a ghost, I guess, or he extended his arm to shake the hand of a ghost, but the ghost wasn't there. So he just basically shook air. Totally insane. But this is the president of the United States of America. Again, I'm sure you feel completely secure with him in office. And I'll be frank with you too. I'm disgusted with his wife. I'm disgusted with the people that are around him. I'm disgusted with him. I think the Biden family is a crime family. Their son, Hunter Biden, I'm sorry. I used to have a bit of remorse for him. That's waning. The guy is totally disgusting, crackhead, sleeping around with all types of prostitutes, corrupt, using the office of the White House to get rich while we help pay for it. Just totally disgusting to me. All right. So what is this next video, Gabe? I forget. We got the he falls off of a bike. He shakes. Oh, okay. So brace yourself. I don't know if this is bleeped out or not, but there is a cuss word here, so I do want to warn you of that. But I think it's important to play this video and to hear this audio because it lets you know who's in the White House. This guy is a wannabe dictator. Let's roll the audio, Gabe, or the video.
You guys hold there. Cameras behind the camera.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for coming down. We appreciate it. I'll pick the food.
I was. No one
Yeah, goddamn right.
And you can't argue with your brothers outside the house.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right. Good to see you.
All right. That's the senile old man. He still knows enough to say that nobody F's with the Biden. I'm sure he was thinking of the J6, mostly peaceful protesters. I'm guessing he was thinking of half the country that understands policy and understands that he is a horrible president. And I hope that his legacy, I really do. I hope that his legacy, and I mean to be mean, I hope he goes down as the worst president of the United States, a complete and utter disaster. I hope that every corruption from A to Z is found out about this guy. I sincerely do. He is a disaster. He's an evil man. But so in light of that, let's mock him just one more again. And again, there's a list of 25 things that'll make your hair stand up. Now, my hair won't stand up because I'm bald, but will make some of your hair stand up if you watch them or if you listen to them. And again, I have the list on my social media, The Carl Jackson Show, wherever I am, The Carl Jackson Show. You can check it out there, the entire list or the full list. But here's the last one that we will play for you. This is Biden and the Easter Bunny. These are some of the better ones that I think we picked out from the list, but all are appalling. So check out the entire list. Let's go ahead and roll this last one here, Gabe.
President Joe Biden was in for a surprise when his comments to people at the White House's Easter egg roll were interrupted by none other than the Easter Bunny itself. Biden was filmed speaking with reporters and guests at the cheerful holiday event when he began discussing Afghanistan, but Meghan Hayes, a White House press official and director of message planning who was dressed as the Easter Bunny, then quickly interrupted him and ushered him away in a desperate bid to avoid another gaffe.
Watch this. We don't want you to say anything dumb, Mr. President. Hey, I know you're lost. Here I am, this big Easter Bunny. Pay attention to me because we know you have no clue of where you are. That's the President of the United States. Hope you feel safer. Unfreaking believable. Didn't want him to answer questions in Afghanistan because obviously, and thanks, Gabe. Didn't want him to answer questions on Afghanistan because that's exactly when his presidency started to crater. That's when everybody realized that we were right and this guy is a complete and utter fraud and totally incapable of being the president of the United States of America. No doubt that he has handlers. All right, so I don't feel bad. And what I want to warm you up to do, because I know this is hard, we got to get our exercise on when it comes to mocking this man. He deserves to be mocked till the day he dies. And no, I don't feel sorry for saying that. This is an evil man. Joe Biden is evil. You can hate Trump all you want. This guy is evil. You look at the policies and the people around him, frankly. I think his wife, Joe Biden, she's disgusting to allow her husband to endure this, to put him in that. Why? Because you know why? Because she wants the luxury lifestyle. They see how the Obamas are living this lavish lifestyle, homes in California, homes in Washington, or a home in Washington, D.C., a home or two homes, I believe, in Hawaii. They get to live large. That's what the Bidens want. And now they won't have to be corrupt or as corrupt to do it. People will just hand them money. And that's what the Bidens like at your expense. Anyway, listen, guys. I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Again, please subscribe to the podcast, SalemPodcastNetwork.com, TheCarlJacksonShow.com, wherever you get your podcast. And again, please follow me on social media. And don't forget, if you subscribe to our podcast on Rumble, on YouTube, please like them. Please rate them if you would. I'd so appreciate it. We're not going to come chasing after you. It's absolutely free. It just helps us move up the ladder. It helps us get exposed to more people, and we would certainly appreciate that. And please don't forget to support my sponsor. If you're going to buy products anyway, MyPillow always has deals if you use my promo code CARL. Go to mypillow.com. Take advantage of that 3-piece towel set right now for only $39.98, but there's still plenty of other deals available if you use the promo code Carl, or give them a call, 1-800-858-0263. Until next time, guys, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.